Hey guys, welcome to episode 10 of the Disobedient Podcast. Today we are going to talk about how to create content on LinkedIn, how to write good posts on LinkedIn, and how to create your network around it. And then we talk about how to deal with writer's block because now that we are talking about LinkedIn, and if I manage to convince you that you need to write content for LinkedIn on a daily basis, you will struggle with writer's block at some point. So writer's block is basically when your ideas are not coming out the way they want you, when you're not confident, when you're scared that what will people think about whatever it is that you're writing. So if you have ever dealt with writer's block, stay till the end because I am going to tell you in a very interesting manner on how to deal with writer's block. So let's get started. So first we are going to talk about my LinkedIn content model. And this piece of content is for you if you are already convinced that LinkedIn is the place to be. LinkedIn is the place where you should be active, where you should be engaging with people, where you should be, producing a lot of content if you want to grow in your career. So this video is not about trying to convince you, but still I'll give you a small example. So I have 15K followers on Instagram and hardly 2K followers on LinkedIn, right? But the opportunity that I've gotten from LinkedIn are at least 10 to 15x more than what I've gotten from Instagram. Because this is the place where decision makers are. This is the place where people who can give you jobs, people who can hire you, people who can become your clients, this is the place where they spend their time. So if you come here, if you write content, if you create videos for this platform, you're going to get massive results. At a point when I was seriously following this content model that I'm going to, tell you about in a minute, I was getting at least 1 to 2 job offers or freelancing offers every single week. And that is amazing. So let's dive right into it. So this content model starts with a 3 week plan. I will tell you step by step what to do in each week. So, week one, assuming that you have created your profile and you have optimized your profile, which means you have written a bio for yourself, you have a headline for yourself, you have written your job descriptions, your roles, everything. You have optimized your profile, right? How to optimize your profile? This is a topic for a separate video. You can also Google it, how to optimize my LinkedIn profile. You will get ton of material on that. So this is considering that you are convinced that LinkedIn is the place that you should be. You have created an account, you have optimized your profile. Now you want to start building your network and you want to start building your expertise, right? So week one, this is what you do. In first week, you are supposed to follow a lot of people from your niche, right? So how do you follow people? Easiest way is to Google, like people in content marketing to follow on LinkedIn. You'll get a lot of leads from there. Number two, there is the search bar on LinkedIn where you can go and search for specific job titles. So if I want to connect with people from marketing or from graphic designing or from painting even, I can just go in the search bar and search painter, graphic designer, whatever it is. You can search from job titles, you can search from hashtags from the same search bar, and you will get a lot of content or a lot of profiles that you can connect to. So one little caveat in this model is that you have to spend 1 hour every day on this, on this model to work it out. To You have to spend 1 hour LinkedIn doing activities around building your brand on LinkedIn. But believe me, it sounds a lot of time, 1 hour every day, but the results that you would get 3-4 months from now are mind blowing. In the first 6 to 7 days, all you're doing is sitting down for 1 hour, finding people in your niche who have done something, who are at least 2 steps ahead of you and are producing a lot of content on LinkedIn, right? So these two criteria they should meet, and your goal is to every day connect with at least 3 to 5 such influencers. You might have to visit, 10-15 profiles every day so that you can find, people who meet these two criteria, right? The biggest criteria is that they are posting a lot of content even if they are just as beginners as you, right? So this is all you do. So by the end of this week, you will have 15-20 people who are posting a lot of content. So now when you open your LinkedIn, there is a lot of content related to your niche on your feed, right? So this is the level we want to get at by the end of week one. Now, what you do in week two is you reduce this goal of connecting with 3 to 5 influencers to connecting with 1 or 2 influencers every day, right? Make it a goal that you will at least connect to one influencer every day. The second step is to consume their stuff on your feed. Just read all the things that they're putting out. This will give you an idea of in your field, how are people doing content marketing. So for example, if you are a graphic designer and you have connected to a lot of graphic designers who are producing content, you will know what are the things, what are the aspects of graphic designing are they talking about. Are they talking about their client experiences, or are they talking about how to get more clients? Are they talking about how their creative process is like? Are they talking about different tools that they are using to deliver the results to their clients? So what are they exactly talking about? You'll get a lot of idea, and you will learn a lot from that, right? So this is the second step in week 2, right? Consume a lot of content. And then what you will also start is to drop meaningful comments on at least 5 of the posts that you read on your feed, right? So for example, if you read a post from a graphic designer or from a writer maybe, who's talking about 5 tools that he or she uses to write content, right? It could be Grammarly, Google Doc, this, that, whatever it is. I could comment with 2 other tools that I use that make my writing process much easier. So that becomes a meaningful comment. In the comments, you could write your own experience of dealing with a difficult client and how you overcame that, or what you did, right? So you don't have to drop like nice, thanks, good article or something like that. No, you have to drop like 2 3 lines of a detailed thought in the comments. And next, what you do is you don't just comment it and forget. You take this comment and copy it in a different Google Doc. I name it as content WIP file. WIP means work in progress. I will tell you why, what it means. But for now, all you have to do is consume a lot of content and leave 5 meaningful comments at least every day on 5 influencers that you have followed, and then copy paste that comment in a WIP file. Dropping 5 meaningful comments won't be very easy because you would have to consume at least 15 to 20 articles, posts, or videos on LinkedIn to be able to come up with at least 5 posts where you have something to contribute, right? A lot of times, if you are very new in the industry, you will find that you read an article and you are so fascinated, or you watch a video, or you read a post, and you're so fascinated by it, and you have so many things that you don't understand. So you go on googling, and you get into the rabbit hole of finding out what these people are talking about. This is also part of the second week, is to, one, connect with at least one influencer every day. Number two, consume their content. Number three, try to drop 5 meaningful comments and keep storing that comment in a WIP file. And number four is, whenever you find that something, they're talking about something, or a word or something that you don't understand, you go and Google it. You enhance your knowledge base. So this is what you do in week 2, right? It would roughly take you 1 hour to do all of this, sometimes more, sometimes less, but be prepared to spend at least 1 hour every day. So this is week 2. Week 3 is where the real model kicks in. By now we have been putting out different pieces, right? Now we are trying to bring all these pieces together and create a content engine for ourselves. So week 3 is where we split our this 1 hour into two very distinct parts. Part 1 is when we do the regulars, connect with at least one influencer who is posting good content every day. Then, most importantly, drop 5 meaningful comments on good posts that you admire, and keep storing them in a WIP file. By this time, I'm assuming that you have been dropping comments for like 5 6 7 days, and it's become easier for you, because in the second week it would be like a very difficult task for you to write these comments. But by now, I am assuming that, because by that time I had sort of learned to drop these 5 comments in 30 minutes. So that was a challenge. So but I kind of learned how to do that. And then you spend the rest half an hour in the WIP file that we have been creating since week 2, right? What you do here is you consider all these different comments as different posts that you can put out. But these are just idealets, if we can call that, right? And you have to frame different posts from it, but you don't force it. You are not like, okay, I dropped this idea and now I'm going to write a whole post on it. What I do is I don't force myself. I'll just skim through my file every day for next 30 minutes and try to add whatever idea that I come across that complements a particular idea. For example, in the WIP file, if I had left a comment which talked about my bad experience with a client, and in 2 3 sentences, because it was a comment, now I would try to expand on it, and then I won't try to write the whole thing in the first go, I will just go and roughly write down what else happened when I was trying to deal with that bad client, right? I'll just go write it down and move on to the next comment. I'll see if I have something to add to the next comment. If not, I'll move on to the next comment, and then next comment and next comment. So these comments are different topics which I'm planning to frame an article on. I won't force anything, because if you start forcing it, it would become a bad experience for you. All you do is you have all your ideas in one sheet, and every day you're going and spending 30 minutes in that sheet. And whichever idea, if you get some more ideas related to that idea, you just keep on adding it there. You keep doing it for next 7 days, and then you will find that at the end of week 3, a lot of different ideas, rough ideas that you have stored, they have started making more sense. They have started becoming fuller. You can now almost post it, because it has become like a 2 3 paragraphs of meaningful content, right? I use the analogy of a mango tree with a lot of fruits on it. So I see my WIP file like a mango tree which has a lot of fruits, and they are ripening at different stages. They are, some are yet green, some is half yellow, some are fully yellow and bright, and they are ready to go out. So I'll every day go and find out that one fruit which is almost ripe, which is ready to go. I'll plug that. I'll rub the mud off, and I'll eat it, or I'll sell it, whatever that analogy that you want to take. So what I'm trying to get to is, every day, once you have been doing it for some time, every day you will go through your WIP file, and you will obviously keep on adding ideas on different topics, different comment that you have stored. And while you are going through different comments, you will find that, okay, this one idea is ripe enough, it can just go out. So you spend 25 minutes in the WIP file, and the rest 5 minutes you plug that idea and try to furnish it a little. So for example, if we go that to idea of me dealing with a terrible client, I would plug that an idea. So for example, that idea contains everything about how I got that client, and how he made my life miserable, and how I dealt with him. Maybe I framed a proper contract on what to expect and what not to expect, or maybe I fired that client, what I did. So this is the whole post. It's ready because I have been working on it for last 3 4 5 days. Every day I come into the WIP file, I add one point, or I rewrite a sentence, or do something like that. Now it is almost ready. So a couple of things I would take care of before posting is, I will make sure that the sentences are small. So because on LinkedIn, most people are reading it on their mobile, and they have obviously low attention span. So I will try to make shorter sentences. So if it's bulky paragraph, I'll make the sentences short. I will end with a call to action. Have you ever dealt with a bad client? How did you go about it? Something like that. And then most importantly, I will write a hook. Hook is the first line of any post, which makes people continue reading. So I would be like, I had a client who would call me at 2 a.m. for a revision. So now everyone would relate. Everyone who has been, who has had a terrible client in the past, who would relate. Okay, I had a client who would call me at, difficult times. So add a hook, make the body crisp, write shorter sentences, add call to action. This is what you do in last 5 10 minutes, and just post it out, right? Now the real magic happens. For example, if you were not following this whole model, and you just wrote one post, you spent 3 hours writing this post and expected it to go viral, and you post it, what happens? Crickets. No one gives a shit about it, because no one knows you. But now you have spent 3 weeks, especially, every day meticulously engaging with the community, finding people in your niche, leaving meaningful comments, not just nice comments or nice posts, thanks for sharing. You're leaving meaningful comments on their posts. So they know you, they already respect you, they already know that, okay, this guy or this girl knows something about this field, right? So you have already built sort of a small network of yourself now. And plus, this post that you have been working on, it's not just a one, you sat down one day, you wrote and you posted. You have been polishing it slightly every day, so now this is a much higher quality post than what you have written if you just sat down one day and tried to write something. So this is a much more polished post. You are putting a much more polished content in front of an audience that already knows you. So when you post this content out there, it would reach out to a lot more people than it would have if you had, just gone cold turkey. So this is how the whole content model looks like from third week onwards. This is what your schedule or this is what how my schedule looks like. So I spend the first hour of the day on LinkedIn every day. So this is set in stone. No matter how busy my day is going to be, I spend the first hour on LinkedIn. What I do is in the first half an hour, my goal is to leave at least five meaningful comments, and sometimes I try to stretch it to 8 or 10 comments. Take these comments, these meaningful comments, put it on WIP file, then spend the next, you know, 30 minutes in the WIP file going through different posts and refining them, seeing which of these topics I can add an idea to, or I can rewrite a sentence, or I can make it better. And then every day take out one post from that list and post it on LinkedIn. This is how the whole circle goes. And I would really urge you to try it out because it has worked wonders for me. So now that we are talking about writing content on LinkedIn, and if you have been a writer for some time, you would have come across this term called a writer's block. And this, what I'm going to tell you next, is how not to deal with your writer's block. So this is a story of how writers make themselves miserable. Introducing to you our lead character, John. And John is someone who was passionate about writing from his childhood, and he wanted to convert his passion into his profession, and he succeeded at it. Now he is a writer, he is writing for people, and he's having a good time. So on one fine day, John sits down to write on a project and finds that his usual flow is missing. He is writing less and deleting more. The muses are not shooting any of their good ideas his way. His magic is gone and he feels like a muggle. Still, he tortures himself to come up with some good stuff, but in vain. And that's when he says, "Oh, I have a writer's block." Things go very interesting from here, since he has already made the writing process so torturous for him by now. The block becomes an excuse to not sit down and do the work. So days pass and he accumulates even more negativities around the writing process. And naturally, he doesn't feel like getting back to it. And bad things follow from here. He loses his clients, he damages his self confidence, he quits writing altogether, he burns his laptop, he goes into a forest and starts living there. Then one day, while he was chopping wood for his dinner in the pouring rain, John had an epiphany. That day, years ago, when he was feeling low, instead of forcing himself to come up with the best work and then self diagnosing himself as having writer's block, what if he had allowed himself to write a bad draft instead, right? Which could be later improved on. Maybe he would be sitting in his sofa, in his comfortable sofa, in his living room, and writing on some very interesting projects right now. But it's too late for him right now. He has been living in jungle since years. So he shakes his head, wipes the raindrops from his eyebrows, and continues chopping wood. So if you are watching this, here is what John wants to tell you. When you're stuck, give yourself the emotional permission to write the worst draft of your life. It will give you the foundation to later improve on. It will prevent you from getting into the block. It would make the process of writing bearable, if not enjoyable. And last, it will save you from becoming John. So that was the episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, write me an email, write me a physical mail, fly to Bangalore, knock on my door to tell me how good this podcast was, because your appreciation and your feedback is what keeps us going.